Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Friday, June 14th, 2019. Happy Flag Day. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many rules already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us, and those rules include participating in the work to complete the assignments already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us. We have a question because we're attempting to complete this assignment of gathering the questions of humanity and presenting them to wiser minds above as a means of keeping the portal open. And what seems to be happening instead is that when we do that, the portal shuts.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so we need further instruction. What are we supposed to do? What now to keep the portal open? And I see angelic presences, godly presences affiliated with planet Earth in a kind of like a conference room that looks like a workroom.
That's what I see also.
It reminds me of is when we were an auditor with Price Waterhouse, and there would always be the conference room where the auditors were delegated to.
Yes, that's what this looks like.
It looks like one of those rooms. What are we supposed to do about this? And they want us to send up better questions, but we're sending up the questions of humanity. Those are the questions of humanity. There aren't better questions. They said, what about the questions that come in from email? Sometimes they're better quality. And that's true. That somebody else is asking, why are those better quality? It's another presence in that room. And somebody else is saying, maybe it's because those people went through an extra step of effort to at least look up an email address, which is, after all, easily available online.
That's true.
So it's possible that, therefore, those viewers are better quality viewers, and their questions might be better quality questions, possibly just trying to speculate why that presence up there in that divine room is saying, what about emailed questions? And they did send in 2 emailed questions.
That's true.
There were 2 emailed questions today. Let me see if I can access what the memory was. One of them was a question about whether or not animals have souls, which I think is pretty self-evident, because Jamie's healing practice is with animals.
That's true.
Doing angelically guided multidimensional energy healing for soul purpose sessions with racehorses.
That's true.
And in answer to somebody's question, what we are noticing is a string, a wave possibly, of ex-humans showing up in racehorses and in many domesticated animals.
That's true.
And presumably in the animals in the factory farms that they're filling with ex-humans, people who were just human, the human life died, or the soul abandoned the human life.
Also true.
And the souls are now being funneled through the factory farm animals, because humans are, instead of going vegan, which is what the situation actually calls for, humans are turning to factory farms for their food.
That's true.
It's wrong. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? They said, what about the other emailed question? The other emailed question was about a date on our website, which is February 2nd, 2020, which is a deadline, a date by which the angels and godly presences have said if we can't get humanity to change course significantly by that date, it's a really big problem, maybe a big enough problem that eventually, as an outcome, this civilization will collapse, eventually, meaning not in the far distant future, but within the lifetime
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
These host lives. And this life's 61 years old, so we're not talking a terribly long time.
Nope, that's true.
And the questioner was asking what the significance was of that date.
That's what they're talking about upstairs.
Many psychics can get that there are dates, and they seem to be misunderstanding what the meaning is of the message.
That's what they're talking about.
We psychics are being given deadlines, dates by which we really need to kick it into gear. For example, January 1st, 2000, we really needed to have made some changes as a collective, as a species.
That's true.
That we have not yet made, not even yet to this day.
No, that's true.
And that was an important deadline, and we as a collective, as a species, were supposed to meet that deadline, and we didn't meet that deadline, and we have yet to accomplish those goals.
That's true.
For him is the message, and why do you ask? They're still pointing at that email.
Yeah, that's true.
And the person was basically saying, what's the significance of this particular date? And it's like the end of the Mayan calendar.
That's
Friends,
what
by the end of the Mayan calendar, we were definitely supposed to have come around the corner, jumped over the hurdle, get into renewable energy quick, because that's the only thing that's sustainable in the long run.
That's true.
Jump over the hurdle. It looks like a literal hurdle they're showing into renewables so that we have a sustainable future for all of us.
That's true.
Become less destructive in our ways. Stop pretending that there is glory in buying things.
That's true.
Other than, let's buy solar panels, all of us, friends. Come on, let's do it. We can do it. And buy electric cars that are charged from the solar panels. We can do it. We can, all of us, do it. Come on, stop buying stuff. Save your shekels. Don't buy frills and frivolities. Don't buy trinkets. Buy solar panels and electric cars, or at least hybrid.
That's true.
And hybrids will work where electric cars won't work.
And this is that same presence sitting at that table in what looks like an auditing room in the higher dimensions.
Yes, and the other person, the other presence, divine, godly presence, thank you for the clarification. The other godly presence is looking very grumpy that humans still refuse to acknowledge that they're being given deadlines.
That's true.
That we're being given deadlines all the time, and we keep missing our deadlines, and this is a problem. For I miss the message, and why do you ask? And that godly presence really wants for somebody to have asked that question, but that isn't what the question was. The question was, what significant thing is going to happen on February 2nd, 2020? And the answer is, unless we do something to make it happen, we as a collective, as a species, there's nothing happening on that day. We need to have presumably cut over to renewables by then. And when that date was given to us, the scientific consensus was significantly longer out. Scientists said, oh, don't worry, you have till 2050 to get your act together. And then they said, you have till 2030 to get your act together. And now they say we have until maybe 2021 to get your act together.
That's right.
And the angels say you have until February of 2020 to get your act together. Do it.
I think I have it.
Yes.
Someone in that higher dimension room is talking about the deadlines and instant karma and something the angels were talking about yesterday, about presences who know that they're doing bad things, and then a big deadline will come and go, and because nothing obviously terrible happened to the person doing bad things on the deadline day, the person doing bad things will decide that that means there are no consequences, and no bad things are going to happen, and then deadline days are meaningless, and they can just keep doing bad things at a really fast pace.
And meanwhile, the factory farms are filling up with human souls.
That's what they're talking about.
There are 19 billion chickens on the planet. Most of them are in factory farms.
That's
19
true.
billion. 19 billion. That means 3 chickens for every human,
Yes,
just
it's
about.
true.
Not quite, but close enough. So don't you worry, when we die, as is inevitable, our souls will find a chicken factory farm body. All of us.
Oh, yeah.
Or a cow factory farm body, or a pig factory farm body.
That's
We
right.
used to have a friend who was just addicted to bacon. She
That's
really was
right.
addicted to it.
That's true.
And she just refused to give it up. And she really wanted to think of herself as an environmentalist and a good person. But she refused to give up eating bacon.
That's right.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask?
I think I got it.
Yes.
So maybe what the thing is about the deadlines is, on the time of the deadlines, all of us here on planet Earth, you can look around you and it might look like nothing has changed, but a record has been made about who made the external shift and the active shift by the time of the deadline, and the measurements are being made and they're being recorded, and all bodies die, all lives transition. The deadline might be a lot more real than people want to believe it is, and when the incarnation ends and we go upstairs and we have the meeting, they'll say, interesting, on February 2nd, 2020, were you vegan? Where were your solar panels? What choices had you made?
It's not just the internal choice.
Yeah.
We have to actually have boots on the ground action. They say over and over again, don't tell us what you're going to do. Everybody talks about what they're going to do. That doesn't count. What counts is what we have done.
That's true.
Do it and then report. Take the action and then report. That's a fascinating point.
Right.
So possibly along that line of thought, that's the deadline by which humans need to have gone vegan and cut over to renewables, at least for themselves.
That's
fully.
true.
Fully. Or we don't think that, we think to be fully off factory farm food.
That's what I think they're saying upstairs.
Fully off factory farm food. Like, build a chicken coop in your backyard and keep a flock of chickens. And we ourselves just eat the eggs. But maybe it's okay to slaughter and eat your pets if you want to. I don't know, that's a separate question. But at least you're not participating in factory farms.
That's true. To then not be dropped into the funnel into a factory farm when this incarnation ends.
As is inevitable.
Exactly.
Interesting. That could be the interaction of those 2 emails that came in from 2 separate people within hours of each other, those 2 separate questions. Interesting. For whom is the message? Why do you ask? And what now to keep this portal open? Is that it? Is that what that date is? Is that what you're saying? That by February 2nd, 2020, humanity there will be an accounting, a record taken, like a snapshot.
That's what it feels like.
Here's who's already gone vegan, here's who's already gone renewable, here's who has already stopped playing the consumption game. Don't buy more stuff. Stop buying stuff. We don't need stuff. Buy solar panels. We need solar panels. And get rid of your gas guzzler polluting device, and get, if you can, if your lifestyle fits with electric vehicle usage, get an electric vehicle. And if that's just impossible given your work situation and where you live, then at least get a hybrid. That does seem to be what those people are saying, and
that's true.
It's fascinating how many viewers want to pretend that these are political statements.
Oh yeah.
And that just doesn't even really make sense.
No, that's true.
Because this is a spiritual activist group. Taught Reiki and Buddhist meditation, for goodness sakes. taught energy healing, angelically guided, multidimensional energy healing. I've taught it for something like 12 years or so now. This has been my career for 20 years. I'm not a political person. I listen to divine voices. I want to be where divine voices are. I don't think life is worth living if I can't hear divine voices. And in order to hear divine voices, we have to give up a lot. And it's okay, we can give it up. It's not what counts. We're going to die, and when we die, as is inevitable, we're going to be held accountable for our actions and our inactions. These aren't political statements. And if you want to argue with that, it's okay. We can ignore you.